ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ. ನಾನು ಸರಸ್ವತಿ ತೇಜ್ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಯಿಂದ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಮ್ಯಾಥ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ತುಂಬ ಸುಲಭವಾಗಿ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೋತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಇನ್ನಿವಾಗ ಬಯಾಲಜಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಗೆ ಬರೀ ಒಂದೇ ದಿನ ಇದೆ. ಆವಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ಕಿಂದ ಓದಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಹಳ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗಿರುವ ಕಾರಣ ನಾವು ನಿಮಗೆ ಓದುವುದು ಸುಲಭವಾಗಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ MCQ 2 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್, 3 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಮತ್ತು 5 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಗಳ ವಿಡಿಯೋವನ್ನು ಬಿಡುಗಡೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ನೀವು ಇನ್ನೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಚಾನಲನ್ನು ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಾದರೆ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಮತ್ತು ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಥವಾ ಟೆಲಿಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆಗಿ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕಾದರೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಏನಾದರೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಎಂಕ್ವೈರಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಾದರೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ನಂಬರ್. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಬಿಗಿನ್ ವಿತ್ ದ MCQs. Here the first question is based on the statement type question. Okay, there are two statements given. The first statement is pollination does not guarantee the transfer of the right type of pollen. And the second statement is compatible pollen pistil interaction guarantees double fertilization. So both of these statements are correct. If the statement 2 is the compatible pollen pistil interaction does not guarantee double fertilization, or if the statement 1 is changed to pollination does guarantee the transfer of the right type of pollen, then the options will be changed and the answers also will be changed. Now the second question is the secondary oocyte formation from primary oocyte occurs in which of the follicle? Here the answer is tertiary follicle. One thing we have to keep it in mind is that once secondary oocyte formation occurs, then Graafian follicle is formed. So we cannot consider Graafian follicle as the answer. And why primary and secondary follicle are not right? It is because in primary and secondary follicle stage, only primary oocyte is present. So the right answer is tertiary follicle. So if you want to prepare for KCET exam in a short time, you can join our crash course, which is taking place in offline mode from 18th March. For further inquiries, you can contact this number. The third question is, progenies with AB and O blood groups are not possible from which of the following mating parents? So what we have to see is that what are the types of parents? You can see in B, C and D, the parents are of AB and B blood group, or AB blood group, or AB and A blood group. And we know that A and B are dominant blood groups. So to get a recessive blood group, the parent should have a recessive allele. And in both these cases, all these three cases, you don't see that. And only in this case, you can see that. So the right answer is O and AB. The fourth question is, another chemical name for the nitrogenous base thymine is? The answer is 5-methyl-uracil, because thymine is a derivative of uracil which has a methyl group in 5th position. The fifth question is, select the correct match. And this question was given from this picture, which is a picture from Evolution chapter talking about adaptive radiation. So this question, which talks about Australian marsupials and placental mammals convergent evolution due to adaptive radiation, here the correct option is spotted cuscus to that of lemur. You can see here. The sixth question is, which of these ancient men protected their body with hide and buried their dead? The answer is Neanderthal. Neanderthal ನಮ್ಮಂತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಹೋಮೋಸೇಪಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಥರಾನೇ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಸತ್ತವರನ್ನು ಹೂತಾಕ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಮತ್ತು ಅವರ ಬಾಡಿಯನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳ ಚರ್ಮದಿಂದ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಹೌ ವಿ ಕ್ಲೋತ್. 7th question, human immunodeficiency virus replicates in which of the following cells? The answer is helper T cells. As we know, HIV viruses are known to attack immunity system, and it is also known to mainly attack helper T cells. So the answer is helper T cell. 8th question, the drug which is depressant and slow down body function is? The answer is SMAC. And 9th question is, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, commonly called as brewer's yeast, is used for fermenting malted, whether it is pulses, cereals, fruits or vegetables. So the answer is cereals. For our easier remembering, the Saccharomyces cerevisiae or yeast is usually used in our house to prepare dosa, idli, etc. So dosa, idli is a major food produced from rice, and rice is a cereal. Which of the following is the correct representation of primer annealing step in PCR? So if you see all of this option, the correct answer is D, because the primer annealing occurs from 5' to 3' direction in both of these template. 12th question is, given below are steps in the gene therapy of a patient with adenosine deaminase deficiency or ADA deficiency. The options given are, lymphocytes are grown in a culture outside the human body. Second, lymphocytes are altered with a functional ADA gene. And third is, lymphocytes are collected from the blood of the patients. And the fourth statement is, the genetically modified lymphocytes are infused back into the patient. Which of the following show the correct order that those steps must occur? So in these 4 statements, it is quite confusing to select which has occurred first and which is occurred last if you are confused with the concept. So first of all, what we can see is that the 4th statement, okay, the genetically modified lymphocytes are infused back into the patient, the 4th statement. Okay, this is the last statement. Why? Because here shows genetically modified lymphocyte. Okay, so in these options you can see which is the 4th statement which is coming last. Okay, here in A and C case, it is the 4th statement that is coming in the last order. Now we have already decided this is the last one that needs to come. And now let's again go with the statements. First statement is, lymphocytes are grown in a culture outside the human body. Without collecting lymphocytes from the patient body, we cannot grow it in the culture. So the first statement should be 3rd statement. So here only in the case of C, among A and C, the 4th statement comes in the last and the 3rd statement comes in the first. So the correct option is C. Now let's go to the next question. The organism that reproduce only once in their lifetime. You might know that there are many organisms that only reproduce once in a lifetime, and first example that we all know is of bamboo. But do you know what is the example of a organism that reproduce only once in the lifetime in case of animals? And the answer is salmon fish. These fishes move from ocean to the backwaters and lay their eggs, and they die and they never come back. Okay, the young ones only come back to the ocean. 14th question is, the decomposers especially abundant in the bottom of the pond are only fungi, only bacteria, only fungi and bacteria, and the fourth option is flagellates, fungi and bacteria, and this is the right answer. The next question is, the IUCN Red List released in 2004 documented the extinction of species in the last 500 years include how many number of species? Okay, the answer is 784, and here the option is B. So how do we get to know the total number of organisms that got extinct in the past or last 500 years? Okay, this is the list. You can see the category of organism that got extinct and number of species extincted is made into a small table. Vertebrates that got extinct is 338, invertebrates 359, and plants amount to 87. So if you add all of these organisms that got extinct, then you will get this number 784. So the next question is again a statement type question, just like in the first question that we discussed. The statement 1 is, Apomixis is the production of seeds from unfertilized ovule. Obviously this statement is correct. Statement 2 is, embryos produced from apomictic seeds are not generally identical to the parent plant, and this statement is wrong, because apomixis is a technique that was implemented to get a parental type plant. So the answer is statement 1 is true and statement 2 is false. The next question is, the cells that secrete testicular hormones, which are commonly also called as androgens or testosterone, are Leydig cells. Here we have to keep it in our mind that Sertoli cells are only used in this spermatogenesis process for nursing the germ cells, which will become spermatogonia. Okay, so in this Leydig cells is the answer. The next question is, which of the following is not a copper releasing IUD? Here what you can do is use elimination method. Elimination method is, you can see among the following options which doesn't belong, you can cut it off, then the remaining answer will be the right one. Here you see copper T, CuT, and copper 7, these both are copper releasing IUD. And multilode 375 is also an example of copper releasing IUD. So among all these four options, only LNG20 is the hormone releasing IUD. That means it is not copper releasing IUD. So the answer is LNG20. Next question is, what is the possible blood group of an offspring when both parents have AB blood group? So what you can do? Here the question is, if the parents, mother and father, both have AB blood group, then what is the possible blood group? So we can write the gametes. Okay. Then if we cross it, we will get A blood group, AB blood group and B blood group. So the right answer is A, B and AB. Why we cannot take C? Because there is no recessive allele that is there in parent type. So you will never get O blood group when parents are AB and AB blood group. The next question is, if an mRNA has its sequence 5' AUG UUU UUU UUUU AA dash 3 dash undergoes translation, how many types of amino acids are present? Okay, here we have to be very careful with the question. So what is the question? They are asking, in this sequence, how many amino acids you can get? So let's check. First amino acid is AUG, which will code for methionine. Okay, then the next is UUU, and you can see UUU is repeated thrice. So in this, only 2 unique type of amino acids are formed. And why I am not considering this? Because always top codons don't code for any amino acid. Okay, so here the answer is 2 types. So if we change this question into another type, like if an mRNA given like this undergoes translation, how many number of amino acids are present? Okay, then you have to count 1, 2, 3 and 4. So that will be 4 amino acid, not 4 type of amino acid. And this question is, arrange the following animal groups in correct sequence of their occurrence on geological time scale. And this is also a question from chapter Evolution. And you can see that the correct answer is C, where first fishes emerged on earth and followed by, in case of animals, fishes emerged first and followed by amphibians, then after amphibians reptiles came and finally mammals. So in case of C option, first fish is there and second amphibians are there, third reptiles are there and fourth mammals are there. So the right answer is C. The next question is, anti-venom given against snake poison contains. The answer, antigen, antibody complex, antibodies, enzymes. So the correct answer is antibody. Because if a person gets bitten by snake, then that person needs immediate action against antigen, that is the venom. Okay, so the anti-venom is the antibody against the snake antigens. Okay, the answer is C. The next question is, the substance produced by a cell in viral infection that can protect other cells from further infection is, answer is interferon. Okay, because if we use the elimination method, serotonin is an hormone or any compound that is produced from brain, and colostrum is the first milk produced in lactation, and the histamine is another protein or amino acid that is there as a result of allergy. So only this thing is there which does not belong to any of this category, and this is the answer for this question. Next question is, because of the presence of which of the following vitamin, curd is considered as nutritionally richer than milk? So the answer is vitamin B12. The vitamin B12 is formed in curd as a result of presence of lactic acid bacteria or lab or lactobacillus. This will convert milk into curd by the precipitation of amino acid in it, and which will turn the curd into a rich source of vitamin B12. The next question is, mycorrhiza is involved in absorption of dash from soil and passes it to the plant. So mycorrhiza is a symbiotic association between fungus and roots of higher plants. The symbiotic association means it is an example of mutualism, and presence of mycorrhiza helps in absorption of phosphorus. The next question is, in the given diagram of PBR 322 vector, identify the restriction sites A, B, C and D. Here, what is more important is you have to be thorough with the label and diagram of PBR 322 vector. And if you know the diagram well, then you will easily identify that A is ori site, B is amphicellular resistant site, and C is tetracycline resistant site, and D is Hindu3 site. So the answer is B. The next question is, the plants developed by the fusion of protoplast of two different plants are called somatic hybrids. Okay? Somatic hybrids are produced in a process called somatic hybridization. Okay? And it is one of the very much important technique in case of tissue culture. Next question is, in a pond, if there were 20 lotus plants last year and through reproduction 16 are added, calculate the birth rate. So you have to know how birth rate is calculated. So if we want to calculate a birth rate, then you have to know the change in number. Okay? That is, here, in last year there were 20 lotus. That means in this year that is 26 lotus. So the difference, 36 lotus. So the difference between 36 minus 20 is 16. Okay. So change in number of members with respect to the number of individuals or members of the population. So then the answer is 16 divided by 20, and that is 0.8 offspring per lotus per year. Okay. If you want to calculate death rate, then you have to change in numbers, the decrease in number divided by members of the population. The next question is, the correct sequence of steps in the process of decomposition is? The answer is fragmentation followed by leaching, followed by catabolism, followed by humification and mineralization. The answer is A. The next question is, the following are the in situ conservation approach except National Park, Wildlife Sanctuary, Biosphere Reserve and Botanical Garden. Among these, the Botanical Garden is the only ex situ conservation. Okay, all these are in situ. But how do you get to know which is the in situ conservation strategy and which is the ex situ strategy? So here is a table that will make your understanding much more clear. In situ conservation strategy includes biodiversity hotspot, biosphere reserve, national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, sacred groves. Okay, and ex situ conservation strategy includes botanical gardens, zoological park, wildlife safari parks, seed banks and cryopreservation techniques. So if there is a question that is asked like, the following are the ex situ conservation approach except, then you have the ex situ strategies and one in situ strategy. Then you will be able to answer if you know this table. The next question is, Even in absence of pollinating agents, seed setting is assured in camellia. Okay. This concept is related to chasmogamous and clistogamous flowers. And plants such as viola, which is called common pansy, oxalis and camelina produce two types of flower, that is chasmogamous flower and clistogamous flower. Okay, and clistogamous flowers are produced to ensure self-pollination. And even if there is no pollinating agent, in clistogamous flower, you will see seed setting. The next question is, which of the following statement is true? A. LH surge induces menstruation. B. Regression of corpus luteum increases progesterone. C. Diploid egg is formed after second meiotic division. D. Embryo differentiates from the inner cell mass of blastocyst. And you have to know, here also we can use elimination method if you find it easy. See, diploid egg is formed after second meiotic division, and we have to know meiotic division occurs to reduce the chromosome number. So you cannot get a diploid egg. Okay, so this statement is wrong. And regression of corpus luteum increases progesterone. We know that corpus luteum is needed for progesterone production. Then if corpus luteum only doesn't exist, how it will increase progesterone? So this statement is also wrong. And the first statement, LH surge induces menstruation. No, LH surge induces ovulation. So this statement is also wrong. So the only statement that remains is embryo differentiates from the inner cell mass of blastocyst, and this is the right statement. So here again the statement type question. The statement 1 is gift or gamete intrafallopian tube transfer is an in vitro fertilization technique. That is a wrong statement. It is not an in vitro fertilization technique, but it is an art technique, that is assisted reproductive technique. Statement 2 is in gift, that is gamete intrafallopian tube transfer, gametes are fertilized outside the female body. Wrong. Okay, in gift what happens is that gametes are introduced into the uterus of the female body, and further the natural course of reproduction occurs. So the answer is B. Both statement 1 and statement 2 are incorrect. So in this question, what is given is names of scientists are given, and opposite to that is the techniques they have discovered or invented. Okay, and what you can do is, if you don't know all of the scientist name, you can check for the scientists you know and their discovery. For example, I know that Griffith discovered transferring principle, so D2. Okay, and I will check for the correct option. Can you check? Can you see in which of the options there is D is matching with 2? Only in B. So in case of B, D2, and in case of for Alec Jeffrey, it is the DNA fingerprint, and for F. Sanger, it is the DNA sequencing, and Jacob and Monod, it is the lac operant concept. So only the B option matches. So the answer is B. So in this question, let's check. Observe the following diagrammatic representation of operation of natural selection on different traits. Here, natural selection depicts, see this graph. Okay, these graphs represent there are three types of graph representing natural selection, and this is one of the graph that shows a particular type of natural selection known as disruptive natural selection. Okay, a disruptive population. And this question is, Which of the following plants does not possess a hallucinogenic property? Okay, the answer is Papaver somnifera. And this is the only plant among all these plants that doesn't possess hallucinogenic property. Next question is, here statements are given and you have to select the correct statement. There are 5 statements. Okay, here we can see in the options that there are multiple options which are correct, not just one option. So you have to know all this, you have to read all statements much more carefully. So let's read the options. First statement, innate immunity is accomplished by providing different types of barrier. Okay, this is the right statement. Second statement is acquired immunity is present from birth and is inherited from parents. Wrong. As the name suggests, it is acquired through lifetime. Okay, so it is not inherited at birth or from parents. Third statement is acquired immunity can be divided into antibody mediated and cell mediated immunity. Absolutely right, because acquired immunity involves humoral immunity through antibodies and cell mediated immunity through T lymphocytes. So this statement is correct. Okay. Then the fourth statement, innate immunity is also called specific immunity. Wrong. Innate immunity is never specific. So this statement is wrong. And the fifth statement is acquired immunity consists of specialized cells, T cell and B cell, and antibodies that circulate in the blood. And this statement is right. So among 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 statement, only 1, 3 and 5 is correct and C is the right option. So the next question, during sewage treatment, the gas produced in anaerobic sludge digester includes, and this question is talking about the composition of biogas. And we all know that biogas consists of methane, hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide, and this is the right answer. The next question, which of the following is not a feature of plasmid? First of all, we have to know that plasmids are extrachromosomal, circular, double-stranded structures that can self-replicate. Okay? Or they have independent replication. That means they are not single-stranded. So this is the option that is not a feature of plasmid. The next question is, Agrobacterium tumefaciens is used as a vector for cloning genes in plants because Agrobacterium tumefaciens is a pathogen of plants alone. Okay? The next question is, identify incorrect statement. To understand or to check what are the incorrect statement, first we have to read it. So the first question or first option, A, the transgenic cow Rosie produced milk enriched with alpha-lactalbumin. This is a correct statement. And C, human protein alpha-1 antitrypsin is used to treat emphysema. This is treat, okay? And this is also a correct statement. Next, D. The commercial production of human insulin was made possible by the transgenic species of E. coli. This is also correct statement. This is also correct statement. And we should know that Bt toxin genes Cry1AC controls corn borer. That is not a correct statement. Cry2AB or Cry1AB, that is the one that controls corn borer. The next question is, the correct order of various levels of biological organization in an ecosystem is. This is the correct order. First, the smallest level is organism, followed by population, then community. Community becomes ecosystem, and ecosystem covers the biome. And this is the largest biological organization. The next question is, the rate of the formation of new organic matter by producer is known as gross primary productivity, and this is represented as GPP. The next question is, it is related to the previous question. NPP is the result of, what is NPP? NPP is the net primary productivity. And there is a formula that you might also be aware, GPP minus respiratory loss. Okay, gross primary productivity minus respiratory loss will give net primary productivity. And you can say that this is the same formula that is asked. Okay, so NPP equal to GPP minus R. This is the answer. Next question is, as per species inventories, 70% of species recorded are. Answer is animals. Then the remaining percentage belongs to plants and other organisms. The next question is, the function of tapetum in microsporangium is to, first answer, that is nourish the developing pollen grains. Okay, it doesn't help in dehiscence or release of pollen. It also doesn't have a role in protection and dehiscence. And here, since it doesn't have a role in dehiscence, then you cannot consider a statement that has this word. So the correct answer is first one. The next question is, it is also statement based question. Statement 1. Amniocentesis is legally banned for sex determination. Correct. Okay. This statement is correct. Why? Because in India, because they were using the amniocentesis technique to determine the sex of the baby, and if it was found the child was female, it was aborted. So that's why this was banned for sex determination. Statement 2. Amniocentesis was being misused for aborting normal female. So this is correct. So both statement 1 and 2 are true. Next question. Which of the given genotype is or are dihybrid or dihybrids? So this question is confusing. Okay. Here the right answer is this one. Here they are asking not hybrid but dihybrid. That means that both of the character, that is round and yellow, should have a dominant allele and recessive allele and dominant allele and recessive allele. So if we change this question into an option like this, okay, RR, YY, TT, okay, RR, YY, TT, RR, YY, TT, and C, RR, YY, TT, and D, RR, YY, TT. If you check this and if the same question is there, that is which of the given genotype is or are dihybrids, then the right answer here will be this one, not this one, because there are trihybrids, okay, and here there is no hybrids, only one hybrid is there, and only in this case there are dihybrid. Next question is, the number of nucleosomes required to pack the 4.6 into 10 to the power 6 base pair of DNA in E. coli is? The answer is 0. It is a common sense based question. Why I said like that is that E. coli ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ ಆಯ್ತಾ. Since bacteria doesn't have a nucleosome, how can you ask number of nucleosome? Like how can you tell number of nucleosome if there is no nucleosome existing in the bacteria? So the answer is 0. Don't see any of these number, okay? If the question is number of nucleosome required to pack DNA in E. coli or any bacteria, then the answer is 0. Next question is, single step large mutation leading to speciation is saltation. Next question is, which of the following is an autoimmune disease? The answer is rheumatoid arthritis. Okay. Next question, injection of antitoxin in tetanus confers which type of immunization? It is of artificial passive type of immunization. The right answer is artificial passive. Next question is very simple. Penicillium notatum is a but confusing question, because we know Penicillium notatum is a fungus, but there is no fungus option is given. Bacteria, mold, prion and virus is given. What you can do? You can do elimination method. It is not a virus, so this is not the answer. It is not a prion, this is not an answer. It is not a bacteria. So the right answer is B, mold. So you also should know that fungi is also called as mold. Next, this question talks about which of the following is the correct order in the process of PCR. And before seeing these options, you have to know that PCR involves 3 steps: denaturation, annealing and extinction. So now check for the correct option. You can see that first step is denaturation, annealing and extinction is only seen in D. So this is the answer. This question is, which of the following facilitate the even mixing and oxygen availability throughout the bioreactor? And option given is controller, stirrer, motor and shaft. Okay, the correct answer is stirrer. The next question, an explant used in the production of virus-free plant in plant tissue culture is? Answer is axillary meristem. Even apical meristem is also used for production of virus-free plant. So if you have a plant at home which is suffering from viral disease and you want to propagate that same plant, then you can use a tissue culture method where axillary meristem or apical meristem can be taken. So I hope this MCQ series or MCQ one-shot video might have made you clear lot of confusion that was there previously, and I hope you do well in the board exam of biology subject without any confusion and worries, and all the best for your exam.